Like I say, one of the things I really loved about my groups, like I said, I employed Irish, I employed Scottish, I employed lots of my groups. What I loved about my groups most of all is that I could ask them to do just about anything, at least manufacturing wise. I could ask them to build a wooden ship, and they'd be like, "Well, we've never done it before, but we'd love to try." And they would build a ship for me. Like I'd pay them the money, and by the end of it, a lot of times, like I'd be like, "And like this, and like that," and by the end of it, like a lot of times, I wouldn't even care if I made money. I didn't care how much it cost. Like just working with my people sometimes, like sometimes it was just the joy of working with my people that, and I loved how they loved to jump at a challenge, and we would cut, and they would cut down the trees, and work would begin. And I one of my biggest things I loved about my people, not just I loved working with them. I loved talking to them, and we would discuss details, and they would ask to clarify things and stuff like that. And I really, 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 really loved working with my people. That's why later on, like I fiercely defended them. Like when there's allegations against the Irish or allegations against the Chinese or Japanese. Well, the Chinese and Japanese did look. The Japanese or one of the groups did look guilty, and I was like, but I mean, like the Irish, I mean, you work with someone for so long, and you just get this bond, and it's just I adored them. I guess adored is the wrong word. I guess respected. Um, I felt like like we were a team, like we were like family, and like I was there. I just I would die for my people. And I mean a lot of times, like I say, I didn't even care if we made money or not. Just the joy of working with them, and just the I mean, I was just this really rich and really good inventor, and they were just building my ideas, my crazy ideas and stuff. And like I say, by the end of it, I wouldn't even care if it worked or not. I'd be like, "Oh, you'll get it. I'm sure you'll know what you're doing." Anyway, and they would be building it and stuff like that. And at first, sometimes things didn't go so well. I'd be like, "It's all right. Don't worry about it." So it takes an extra year. I mean, a lot of this stuff. I mean, it took a little longer, but I mean, it's a big world, and I had a lot of. I mean, people loved to work with me, and we grew our own food, and we kept costs low, and they worked really hard. And everywhere we went, we made the world a better place. That's what I did. That's what was my thing. I mean, I did make weapons and guns and tanks too and aircraft, but I mean, that wasn't what I really did. I didn't want Lucifer to be known for the weapons or anything else like that, or how I had tortured some really bad people. I did, or hunted them down. I did, but I mean, I loved working with my people. I loved making the mines. I loved digging deep. Sometimes I loved even getting drowned out. Um, I just loved being working with my people. I mean, you command a company for so long, and you know. Anyway, though, but I do have a lot of great experiences. I mean, there were a lot of times when we were building things, and I mean, I remember. I remember the Irish. I remember how the Irish would go without pay. They once went almost a year without pay because there's problems with the delivery with the stuff. I mean, my people would work without pay all the time. It didn't matter to them. They'd be like, "We know it'll come. It doesn't matter to us." So as long as I was in command, as long as I was a part of the company, like they knew that everything was going to be the right way, and I knew that everything was going to be built the right way. That's why I say a lot of times I'd be like, I won't work with anyone else. My employees, my people, or nothing else, because they know me. And so like my Belfast shipyard people, like they knew what I expected and what I wanted. Anyway, so I mean, we were a team. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I was the leader of Germany and Ireland and some other countries, and the people in my company, we were a team. So, and I protected my team. Like I would spend any amount of money to rescue someone, or I mean, I paid lots of lots of ransoms. Like my people would be would be ransomed, and it's like, well, we don't have the money. It's like, I was like, well, do I have the money? It's like, well, yeah, sure, of course you do. It's like, okay, pay them the money. We'll get the money back later on. And sometimes they would say, are you sure? It's like, yeah. I can get more money. I can't get more people. You know, some people are irreplaceable. So, anyway, and if it mattered to my people, it mattered to me. That's the way it was. So, I mean, that's why people love me so much. That's why they would laugh and joke with me, because, you know, I was always there for them. And I would always be there for them. That's why there's this one time when what's his name was, I mean, I freaked out one time because Mr. Brown got a hold of, you know, he told me what he was going to do. And I freaked out because when they had me hostage in the chair, I freaked out because my people wouldn't know. Anyway, and I knew how many people could die. Anyway, but I think my people said that they knew right away that something wasn't right. So, I mean, I don't really know. I was hostage. So, anyway, though. Like I said, LS, Lucifer, I paid lots of ransoms. Like, I would always pay the ransom if I could get the people back. You know, money didn't matter to me. Gold didn't. I mean, there's gold everywhere. I had 10 mines. There was metal everywhere. There was money everywhere. Like, I didn't care. What's $1 million? Like, usually it was like 10,000 or 50,000. It's like, who cares? I own the Titanic. Of course. And then the family would be returned and everybody would be happy, and then we would hunt them down later on. You know, that's what police departments and investigators are for. So anyway, later on, they say America doesn't negotiate with terrorists. Well, it's because no one had the authority that I had to negotiate, and I was out of contact or something. Or John McCain was the terrorist. Richard Nixon was the terrorist, along with Brown. Like, you can't exactly negotiate with yourself. You know, when John McCain and Richard Nixon are the terrorists, then how are you going to negotiate with yourself? So of course they couldn't negotiate, or they wouldn't negotiate. You know. Anyway, whatever. I don't really know. Anyway, I'm just the owner of the Titanic, Lucifer, White Star Lines. So. And the whole thing about the lifeboats actually was because they were going to make it a medical ship or something, and I was like, it should have lifeboats anyway. And they're like, but it's just a medical ship. They put the lifeboats on it anyway. Maybe they're going to scuttle her. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted lifeboats on there anyway, just in case, because you never know when they're going to be needed. So, like, even if they were just going to scuttle her, like, I didn't always trust certain people. You know, sometimes they would say, oh, it's an empty town, and then they would bomb it, and people would be dead. And it's like, I thought it was an empty town. Oh, there must have been a mistake. Anyway, there were some people that weren't, you know. Anyway, so I stopped doing things. Anyway, it gets complicated.